Hey Marines, this may be the only duty station where you can actually surf and be in formation before 8 a.m. I welcome you to Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. Now we're gonna cover a lot in this video, the location, things to do on base, who can live on base, what type of housing there is, but we're here at one of the best spots in Hawaii, not only on the Windward side, but we're here on the Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. And since we're already here at the beach, we're gonna talk about it. If you're a big surfer, this is gonna be probably the best situation you can find yourself in. We're here on North Beach. There's actually two main beaches on Marine Corps Base. You have North Beach, and then you also have Pyramid Rock over there, which we'll go check out. Now, fortunately, we're in a unique situation. This actually is one of the spots on the Windward side, which generally is pretty flat. There's not a lot of waves, but because of the angle, we get a lot of swell, which you can see right now, especially during the winter time. But it's a really good quality wave. And like I said before, you can actually go surf out here and be in formation before 8 a.m. And that's good Hawaii living, especially if you have a duty station out here in Hawaii. Now, the Marine Corps Base obviously has this beautiful beach. And if you just go outside the gate and go to Lanikai or Kailua Beach, it's gonna be packed with people. As you can see behind me, mind you, it's in the middle of the week, but even in Kailua or Lanikai, it's packed. Here, there's basically nobody. So it's one of the best experiences you can have in Hawaii. Now, quick story time. I've surfed here a fair amount of times, and one thing that you will probably come across, not guaranteed, just depends on the season. Usually in October, they call it Sharktober. And there's actually tends to be a fair amount of sharks that will pass through here. Now, mind you, in the last 60 years, there really hasn't been any kind of fatal attack, so it's nothing to really be concerned about. But every once in a while, the lifeguards will call you in if they do see either a tiger shark, or what we do get is a lot of hammerhead sharks, which aren't dangerous at all, but they generally will call you in. So nothing you should really be concerned about, but I'm just trying to be real with you. There sometimes can be some sharks in the water. Now, the Marine Corps Base is very strategically located, but it's very unique, and when you see this map, it's pretty beautiful, and we're obviously gonna check out some of the spots in person, but I kinda wanted to show you the lay of the land. So this is Marine Corps Base all right here. As you can see, we have Kailua over here, and then we have Kaneohe that's over here. Now, technically, it's actually in Kailua, but we won't get into the technicalities. Now, you essentially have two entry points. You've got the back gate and the front gate. As we zoom in, we're gonna see that we've got North Beach over here, we have Pyramid Rock, and then of course, you're going to have the golf course, which is one of my favorite things on this base. And it's got some insane views on some of the back 9 holes. Now, with that being said, of course, you've got the airstrip here, and then we're gonna show you some of the other areas, like we've got the Commissary here and the PX, there's a ton of marine marts, there's a bowling alley, there's a fair amount of things that you can do on base. So that kind of just gives you a little snapshot of what base access looks like. And I mean, look how beautiful it is. I mean, you can't really ask for much more. Now, when you're living on base, you're essentially gonna have a couple different options. Now, when I say options, it's not like you actually get the pick of the litter, because it is in high in demand. And depending on PCS season, your rank, and whether you would actually qualify, generally, we'll talk a little bit about who can actually live on base here. But what you're gonna see is that there's gonna be single family homes like the one behind me. And these are pretty prime location because we have North Beach right there, across the street from the park, as well as the dog park. We're also gonna have kind of CPR homes. So they look like single family homes, but there might be 2 homes actually connected, so they have a shared wall. They also have townhomes. You can see a lot of those kind of closer to the entrance, as well as by the golf course, which we'll go check out. And then of course, you've got the barracks. So there are a few options that are out there, and depending on your rank, your family size, and the timing will depend on what you can actually choose from. We're now probably about a 3-minute drive from the beach, so it's still not that far from the beach, but this is kind of the style you'll see for the proper townhomes. So the other ones, the CPR single family homes, those are usually 2 houses stuck together with a shared single wall. This one, you may have 2 shared walls. Again, it's just gonna depend on your rank and your family size on what you'll actually get placed in, but this is just kind of an example. And you can see it actually has a nice little yard too. If you got pets, very convenient. And this one specifically is very conveniently located. Golf course is right there. You're a 2-minute drive to North Beach. You got Mokapu Elementary across the street. You have the fitness center right over here, as well as daycare. So everything on base is extremely convenient when it comes to living with the family. Like I mentioned before, they've got single family homes. They also have these CPR single family homes, which can be a bit confusing, a little technical term, but you're gonna see a lot of homes like this, usually in like Ewa, Kapolei, Makakilo, where it's actually a single family home, but you can see it's actually split into two. There's two entrances. So there is a shared wall, but again, pretty good live-in. I mean, if you wanted to buy something like that over in Ewa, you're looking probably at least 800 to $1 million plus. So not a bad gig to live on the Windward side, not even on the west side, be right in Kailua, and don't have to pay anything for it. But of course, you gotta get on the waiting list, gotta make sure that your rank is the right way, and you've got a large family to get into one of these, but it's a pretty sweet gig. Additionally, on the subject of families, it's always nice when you can actually get a workout on. So you can actually see on base, they do have 4 fitness centers. And if you need someone to watch your keikis or your kids when you're getting your sweat on, they do have multiple daycares. And this one actually has one right next door to the fitness center right there. Now, the Marine Corps base is definitely family oriented. It's almost one of the major requirements, especially if you want to get into one of these homes, is that you do have to have a good squad. You gotta have a family. Now, with that being said, it definitely supports not only a lot of the youth sports you'll find here, but you also see scattered across the whole Marine Corps bases, there's gonna be tons of parks. Now, this is the only park we could find that there was no kids. You can see that the kids are laughing, having a good time, and families are definitely enjoying the lifestyle that the Marine Corps base offers. Now, as you can see on the map, now we are very conveniently located at the Commissary, which is right next to the PX. And there's also a couple shops, little strip mall here. You can go to the barber shop, go to the GameStop if you want to get your gaming on. And then as well, they actually have a small Mokapu mall. So a small mall actually on the base. Now, if you want to get to the bigger Commissary or PX, you're definitely going to want to check out the next. That's the one near Pearl Harbor. But this one definitely facilitates what you probably would need that's nearby. Now, the next big question you're probably asking yourself, maybe you're sold on it. You're like, yep, I definitely want to live on base. Well, what are the chances of you actually living on base, and who can live on base? Now, if you are a Marine and you're stationed at MCBH, Marine Corps Base Hawaii, and or at Camp Smith, you have a good chance of being stationed here. But if you want to get one of those nicer homes, it really comes down to, rank is an important aspect, but really what it comes down to is your family size. So if you have a large family, you're gonna have a better chance of being actually placed in housing on base and get one of those townhomes or single family homes or those single family home CPRs. So that's gonna be the biggest factor. Also, it's kind of a pressure valve situation. If all other housing has been exhausted and there's no other place for you to be, they may actually place you out here. Now, another important aspect is the PCS season. Depending on how many people are coming and going, that may also put pressure either upwards or downwards on your chances of actually getting housing here on Marine Corps base. We're now here at the Clipper Golf Course, one of my favorite golf courses on the entire island. Now, of course, you got to be a service member or at least join or get on base with a service member, but this is a beautiful golf course that, of course, you live on base. This place is like a Pleasantville, man. You've got sidewalks everywhere for the family, parks, daycare, schools, and then of course, if you're a big golf enthusiast, you can go surf and then jump on the course to hit a couple off the tee. So it's a beautiful course. You can actually see from these photos, I may be able to find some videos, but it has a couple holes that are right on the water, so you can really feel like you're golfing in Hawaii. Now this is a perfect day for it. You can check out that view of the Ko'olau Mountains. So we're now here down by the harbor. This place is like living on a country club. You got the golf course, you got essentially a private beach, and then you also have your own harbor that you can utilize. You've got slips where you can store your boat. If you're a big fishing enthusiast, you can of course go fish on the open ocean, or we've got a couple people just fishing right off the dock right here. It's absolutely amazing. And then if you don't have your own boat, we'll actually show you, as you can see in this footage right here, you can actually rent your own pontoon boat. I think you have to take a little test, it's pretty minor, but then you can actually take that pontoon boat to one of the main attractions when it comes to the Windward side, which is the sandbar. As you can see by this footage, it's absolutely stunning out there. You get a very similar view to this, but you're actually out on the water in the middle of the ocean and you're on a sandbar. There's lots of people that go out there, enjoy fishing, but probably a lot more partying, but it's a really good time just over the side. Now, if you are fortunate enough to get orders and you're gonna be stationed out here in Hawaii, you essentially have 3 options, right? We've already kind of discussed the Marine Corps base, living here or living on any duty station. But your other 2 options essentially is to rent off base or to purchase a home. Now, there's some pros and cons to living off base, living on base. So let's kind of discuss some of those. What are the pros of living on base? Well, commute. You don't really have to go anywhere if you're living where you're working. Also, cost. You don't really have any expenses because everything is covered if you're fortunate enough to get one of these actual properties. Convenience. No really traffic when it comes to going to your own private beach, essentially. You got the Commissary here. You got a couple of different Panda Expresses, Subways, a couple other McDonald's, things you can eat, all here on base. So there's definitely a lot of conveniences. Now, what are some of the cons living on base? Well, sometimes people don't want to be so close to work where they're seeing their sergeant, their lieutenant, anybody that you really don't want to see at work, you're gonna have to see because it's so small on a day-to-day basis. Additionally, you kind of get stuck in a bubble here when you're living out here in Hawaii. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where you can actually experience the culture of what this island has to offer. And if you're always where you live is where you work, you may not actually live and experience what the island actually has to offer. Now, what are some of the pros and cons of living off base? Well, some of the pros, if you're renting a place, you may have the opportunity to be, again, a little bit further from work. And also, you're also gonna have a little bit more flexibility with choosing what you want. It's not just, hey, this is your only option. This is the only housing that we're offering on base. You actually have a little bit more flexibility of where you're gonna live, how big that's gonna be, and of course, what your budget is. Additionally, what are some of the cons of living off base? Well, it might actually be a little bit more expensive to rent off base than it is to live on base. It just really depends on where you're actually going to be stationed. And if you are going to be living off base and you are stationed here at Marine Corps, I would probably suggest Kailua or Kaneohe. Those are going to be some of the closer areas, but these are generally a little bit more expensive areas on the island. Now, with that being said, the last option other than renting would be to purchase a home. I'm a real estate agent, so I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't actually express how this could be a great opportunity to purchase a home out here. Now, some of the pros and cons. Well, cons, definitely gonna be more expensive. You might not get the size home that you want. That's generally a sacrifice you need to make. And some of the pros, you have an opportunity to leverage your VA loan, 0 down payment, sometimes very little closing costs, if any, especially in this current market. And you can build equity for those 3 or 4 years that you're actually here. And then maybe have an investment property for the future or something where you can sell it and put some money in your pocket. So instead of renting a place and paying somebody else's mortgage, you can actually leverage that governmental money to get yourself in a property that you can use for your portfolio. So those are just some of the pros and cons of living off base, living on base, renting and buying. So just something to keep in mind. Now, if you guys have any questions when it comes to living out here in Hawaii, when it comes to Marine Corps base or anything when it comes to PCSing out here in Hawaii, feel free to give me a call. I've got my contact information right here. You can directly DM me on any of my social media platforms. With that being said, I'm Patrick with PatrickOnlineRealty.com, powered by eXp Realty. Hope you have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you soon. Aloha.